Hello folks, the great Scott here, and welcome to yet another virtual volunteer segment here on my Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channel. And today we have a special guest. This gentleman is the pastor of the New Bethel Baptist Church in Framingham. He is the host of the radio show Sound Travels. And for all of you who attend my church at Salt Lake Church of the Nazarene, this is the gentleman you have to thank for the new soundboard that we got just before this pandemic hit. Pastor Dan Walker. How are you doing today, Pastor Dan?
I'm fine, and I really enjoyed, just a shout out to the folks at the South Weymouth Nazarene Church. They know how to hook a brother up.
Yes, well that was...
They treated us very well.
Yes.
Huh?
Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on here was because I had Pastor Jay Witham on from the First Baptist Church in Rockland. And one of the things that I was telling him is that, you know, we all have different things that the good Lord uses us to do. We all have our main talents, you with sounds, with sound engineering, me with performing and stuff. But what I love is that when sometimes God... What?
And lights, and nothing. I was just saying video and lights and cars.
There's more than just sound. More than just that.
Yes.
Yeah. Pastor Jay did the same thing when I said something wrong. That's what I love about pastors. They are very quick to correct you when you say something wrong about them. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
But
But
that's
anyway.
no problem, because enough people are deliberately saying things wrong, and we know that you have a good heart.
Well, thank you.
We want to just keep you right on track.
All right, well, anyway, before I lose my train of thought here, which falls off the tracks very easily, one of the things I was saying to Pastor Jay is that one of the things that I feel like God has called me to be from time to time is a middleman for him. And I love being the person who says, hey, you need help with this? Well, I know a guy. And you doing the soundboard at our church was kind of one of those, hey, I know a guy type of situations. And introducing you and Pastor Jay, I love the fact that you guys have gone on to do stuff that I am not involved in, because you guys actually first met because you both did screenings of the film I was in, The Reconciler. So, and
Right.
you were helping with that, and then he went on to do some concerts at your church, not only a while back, but recently as well. So, that's...
Yes.
So,
He's a very good person. I love his music. It's just, I like the good down-home nature, and he's a good man. He's a good fellow Christian, and because he's been kind of where I'm going, it's good to just, he and I just talk every now and again. He's got a lot of wisdom.
yes, he does.
That's
He does.
for all new pastors.
He definitely
Find
does.
an old pastor who's been through it.
Yeah, he is. That is true, and he's still as sharp as a tack. That's what I love about him. And he was actually my second guest on these virtual volunteer things. And I think it took about 2 seconds after our segment was over that I was like, hey, wait a minute, I've got to get Pastor Dan on here. And here we are. It took a little while, but here we are.
Here I am.
Yeah, and this is
Right.
also kind of a role reversal, because I've actually been on your radio show twice. So this is kind of
Exactly.
this is
This
kind
is
of
like my chance to get back. My chance to help you.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, one of the things, a lot of the people, other than you and Pastor Dan and my friend Ben, a lot of the people who have been gracious enough to be guests on these segments and have agreed to be guests in the future are, believe it or not, people I've met on social media who actually live in different states. And since you were one of the ones who's local, you're in Framingham, I decided to do a effect today with you that is a little bit of what you would call a slow burn. We had to prepare a little bit ahead for this. And what I did was, actually a week ago today, I mailed you something. And I believe that you
Yes,
have
you did.
that. Will you please hold that up and show that to the camera? Please show everybody what you have there.
You mailed me $100 bill.
No, I did
and
not.
I must confess that. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes. All right, now, there's the envelope right there. And I asked you...
There we go.
I asked you, translation, I wrote all over it, not to open it until
Do
you were...
not
open.
Do not open.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason I didn't want you to open that is because this is my prediction for the effect that we're going to do. Now, I don't think that people can see it on the camera too well, but just to prove that this is on the up and up, what's the postmark on the envelope?
The postmark on the envelope is March 30th, 2020.
And today is April 6th, so this thing has been...
And it costs you $1.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I am nothing if not lucrative.
I could show the people the postmark.
Okay.
There we go.
right.
Right there.
Okay.
Here's the post.
Okay, so that thing has been sealed for at least a week. Okay?
It's been stored for a week. Been carrying it around. I've been lovingly cherishing it.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, one of the reasons why I also wanted to do this trick with you is because, I don't make any secret of the fact that I am a magic man of God. And I also like to clarify to people that the stuff that I do is just tricks. I never give away a secret, but this is all, just tricks for fun. This is using my gifts to serve others like it says we're supposed to in 1 Peter 4:10. Now, the sad part is, because a guy has to make a living, I am probably doing more mainstream shows than I do church shows, unfortunately. I would like to do more church shows, but I probably did 2 gospel shows this past year that I remember for sure. One was at South Shore Christian Academy, and the other was at your church. I did a show at your church. And so, since I did a show at your church, I thought that this would be one segment where I would show you an example of how one uses magic to do a gospel message. This trick that we're going to do is a prophecy illustration. As many of you know, it says in the book of Isaiah, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Powerful God, Prince of Peace, and he will rule on David's throne." I'm paraphrasing, but you know the verse I'm talking about, right, Pastor?
Yes, I do. You got it like 99% accurate.
Thank you. And that is I think that's a scripture from Isaiah that has been written into many, many Christmas songs as well.
Absolutely.
And, yes, but the funny thing is, if you flip over to Luke when the angel is talking to Mary, the angel says to her, "Your child will be given the throne of his father David." What I find astonishing is that scholars put those 2 writings probably more than 700 years apart.
Yeah.
And there are people who try to dismiss that as a coincidence who do not believe. Well, I want to give you guys all an illustration of something that you can't possibly deny that you cannot dismiss as a coincidence. I have something here called Sketchbook. Now, this particular trick was created by, I like to give credit where credit is due, was created by a magician named Sammy Smith, so we thank you for this, Sammy. See how it says Sketchbook right here?
Yes, I do.
Okay, now, Pastor Sam, you know how if a crime is committed, sometimes the police have to bring in a sketch artist for a witness to try to have a composite picture, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Well, sometimes when they can't afford an artist, they will have... Now, this is kind of a cartoon version of it. But this is basically... If you notice here, this book has 3 different parts. It has different heads, it has different eyes, and it has different mouths. Can you see that there?
Yes.
Okay.
I see that.
Okay, and I'm going to flip through these to show you that they are all different.
Yes, they are.
There we are. See, they're all different. Different hairdos there, different eyes right here. Okay?
Yep, I got it.
Okay, you got the general gist of it. Okay.
I got the general concept.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now what we're going to do here is to make sure that I haven't rigged this somehow. I'm actually going to blindfold myself for this. Okay? Now usually I would have a spectator do this to make sure everything's on the up and up, but after all, while practicing social distancing, that's kind of a hard thing to do. All right, now, Pastor Dan, I am blindfolded. If you want to do something to see if I react to it to prove that I'm really blindfolded, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, are you convinced I can't see?
I'm convinced you can't see.
Okay, now, here's what we're going to do. I have the book in front of me here. Is it upside down or right side up?
It is right side up.
Okay. Head, eyes, or mouth? Which one do you want to pick first?
Let's go with the eyes.
All right. Here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to put the eyes out separately, and while blindfolded, I'm going to ripple down this. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. So that is where you stop me. Okay.
That's why I stopped you. Yes.
Okay. Mouth or head? Which one next?
Let's do the mouth.
Okay. Tell me when.
Stop.
Oh, sorry. Should we do that again? I went 2 more after you said stop.
Yes. Again. Okay. Stop.
Right there? Is that good enough?
Right there. Right
Okay.
there.
All right. And then finally we have the head.
Right.
Okay? You know the drill.
That's the drill. Stop.
Okay. So you've completely picked a random face. I mean, we're going to put this sideways. You can see that they don't line up. They're all in different spots, right?
They're all in different spots.
Okay. Now I'm going to remove my blindfold to see what kind of face you created here.
Okay.
All right. Well, there's the handsome devil right there. And you can see it right there as well, right?
Yes,
now,
you can.
We pointed out not just a few moments ago, Pastor Dan, that I mailed you this envelope a week ago.
That is correct.
What you are going to do now is disregard all the warnings that are on it, and you are going to open up that envelope and show the camera what is inside, please.
I am opening up the envelope. I'm tearing it. It was sealed. It had a padlock on it. I'm tearing it open as we speak. I am reaching in and I am pulling out the picture, and it doesn't want to come. And there we have. Oh, you got to be kidding! And there it is. Nice. You did it!
Yes, well, you did as well. I wondered what your reaction was going to be. But anyway, let me ask you a question, Pastor. Which do you believe happened here? Do you believe that I just had luck that would surpass that of winning the lottery? Or do you think I'm good enough at my job that I rigged this somehow?
I think you're good enough at your job that you somehow rigged it.
Exactly. If I tried to tell you that I could either really foretell the future, or if I tried to tell you this was a coincidence, would you buy either one of those?
It's not a coincidence, because the first time you were flipping through, we actually made a mistake.
Right.
And that mistake was completely random,
mm-hmm.
and it could just have easily thrown the whole thing off.
Right.
Because they had to go back and do it again.
Exactly. So the only thing... What? Say again?
So this is really good.
Exactly.
You are phenomenal.
And what it proves, though, is... Yes, but it also proves that I had to have known somehow, right?
You knew something.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, anytime I read that scripture from Isaiah I was telling you about, I look at it the exact same way. I can't, because if Jesus was not who he said he was, then those prophecies that were written in Isaiah have to be a coincidence. I don't buy it.
Right. And I don't buy that either.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, I don't think why anybody is so quick to dismiss it. I have no idea. But anyway, that's just an example of one of the ways that you can use magic with gospel lessons in churches. Now, one thing I like to do for all my guests is give them a chance. I like to say that this show I've been putting together during this lockdown is part a way for me to demonstrate to people who I hope will hire me once the country opens back up again. Notice I said once. I'm not one of those people who believes we're going to be like this forever.
No.
Yeah.
And
anyway.
The Bible says, and it came to pass.
Exactly. It came to pass.
That what was didn't come to stay.
That is correct.
So it came to pass that America had to stop and take stock, and is doing that.
Right. I will say this, though. If this goes much past May, then we can start looking at the words of Morgan Freeman from The Shawshank Redemption. These walls are funny. First you hate them, then you get used to them. If enough time passes, you get so you depend on them. We can't get to that point.
We won't.
Yes.
Anyway, you were going to say.
Yes, I was going to say. One of the things that I've been trying to do is I kind of look at this as a way for me to demonstrate tricks that would normally require volunteers, because that's hard to do when you're just in your living room talking to a camera. You can do as much stuff that you would do when you're standing on a stage yourself, but the tricks that require interaction and volunteers are hard to demonstrate in settings like this. So I thought that I could kill two birds with one stone. I would be able to demonstrate some of my volunteer tricks and help get exposure for other people who have ministries and jobs on my channel as well as theirs. And so what I always like to do in the second half of these segments is give my guest a chance to talk a little bit about what they're doing. And as I mentioned, you have a radio show called Sound Travels. When can people listen to that?
They can listen to that Wednesday morning from 8 to 9 on Boston Praise Radio, which is 102.5 if you're in the Dorchester, Mattapan area. Or you can check me out on the live stream Also on my Facebook live stream, same time, Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. And I also would like to say, Pastor, well, he doesn't call himself a pastor, but he is definitely an evangelist, the great Scott. I think we should try and support the great Scott.
Oh,
everybody, if you don't have a Cash App, I think that if the great Scott will give you a phone number, I think you should take this opportunity to Cash App the great Scott a few pennies just to help support his ministry. And you can certainly do the same thing to myself if you wish, but not on this coin. This is all for the great Scott.
Oh,
if you wish, you can Cash App me and I'll give it to him, or he can give you a number that you can Cash App. But I think we should definitely help support the great Scott in this time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. One of the other reasons why I'm doing these segments, I appreciate that. I didn't know he was going to do that, by the way, folks. Pastor Dan is always full of surprises. One of the things that I am letting people know is, we have definitely one more month, possibly two. I'm just saying two. I really hope that we're done May 4th, but I'm preparing myself for the possibility that we won't be, just so I won't be disappointed. There are a lot of people, even people in my own family, who are stuck inside with their children. I have done 3 shows already through Skype or Zoom that have gone over really well with families. And so I love doing shows from my living room and coming into your living room. So that's another thing. So more than just the pennies that you mentioned, if anybody wants a home Skype show while they're stuck inside with the family, please don't hesitate to call me.
So I don't have a phone number.
Oh.
Do you want to give a phone number out so people can Cash App you?
Well, I'll give a phone number out if anybody wants to hire me for the Skype or Zoom shows, 781-706-9552.
You said that way too fast.
Let me try that again. 781-706-9552.
781
706
706
9552.
9552. 2. And I just want people to know that I've known Scott for a long time now. We've been kind of hanging for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
He is a man of God. He's using his gifts, and whether you know it or not, I just Cash Apped, not the zero. I just Cash Apped the great Scott some money for himself to help him get through.
Oh, so you didn't have to do that. I know that you have a ministry that constantly needs support at New Bethel Baptist Church. But then again,
I think you're worthy and you're doing a good thing, and I want to support you in what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
There it is. I'm asking other pastors to Cash App and to just support your ministry as well.
Well, thank you very much. All right. Was there anything else that you... Was there anything else that you wanted to share? Like, for example, I mentioned just real quickly, that you do, did the soundboard at our church, and one thing that you are...
I did the whole sound, actually, not just the soundboard, the whole sound system.
Right.
We kind of revised we brought the whole system into the current day and age. The new soundboard was certainly part of it, but there are other considerations, new amplifiers, new designs, and new equipment all the way around. I think everybody's having a great time with it when the church opens back up.
Right.
So I design sound systems. I install sound systems. I also do sound for concerts, full-blown concerts, although right now, of course, that's all been canceled.
The very definition of an audience is a large crowd.
Exactly. So that's not happening right now. However, if you tune in the Great Scott site, and also if you go to Danver 39 on YouTube, you can see my page. And if you want to be a Facebook pal, look for Dan Walker or Daniel Walker. You'll see me standing there in front of my red car, or my red Explorer actually. That's mine. Go ahead and just request a friendship, and you'll be able to get whatever I'm ministering, which we do. We're doing a lot of ministry right now going to different churches, setting up our cameras and electronics, and giving the pastors a chance to preach to the internet. We were at Way of the Cross last night with Bishop Frank Kelly. We'll be back there again tonight with another pastor. And I'm willing to come to your church or to your location or even to your home. I'll bring my equipment to your home. You can sterilize me and all that stuff. I'll set it all up, and you can preach to the world from your living room.
All right. Well,
there you have it.
There you have it. Well, Pastor Dan, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for being this virtual volunteer that took a little while to do here, but the reaction on your face was priceless when you opened that up. Let me tell you. And you can keep that for those of you who are wondering, who know that this trick comes with predictions like that. I photocopied it. I did not give him the original, so that is yours to keep as a memento right there. So, thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
God bless, and thank you all.
God bless, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.